Hello, welcome to Perfectly Twisted. It's Nicole Eggert and Dave Palais by my side.
Literally by your side.
Exactly. Yeah. How you
Good
doing?
to see you. I'm doing good. Getting ready as we do the show, getting ready for the holidays, and kind of glad December's coming to an end. To be honest with you, the moving forward to 2026 and everything that goes with it. But there's always a lot of stress. It always feels like Christmas should be more than one day. Like there's a lot of work goes into Christmas.
Agreed. That's why I think everybody kind of celebrates it from Christmas to New Year's. I guess that we get that week of like, it's kind of still Christmas.
Yeah.
Is it not? I agree with you because there's so much lead up. And this year, I'm not really feeling the Christmas spirit so much because it's so hot. I'm like, I don't know. I just want to wear a sweater. I want to feel Christmassy. But, some years are super festive and some you're like, but my kids are coming. Everybody's going to be together. And I say my kids because my son-in-law is now one of my kids. And, I'm just so excited to see them and, be around them and I don't know, just hang out with them.
It is the best part. Do you as a family, do you watch a favorite Christmas movie or have a tradition of something that you watch together?
No, but I'm sure we'll turn on Wicked, the second one, because I haven't seen it yet. I know my oldest daughter went to see it right when it came out. She went into the theater to see it. So we'll probably sit around, I would imagine, and watch that. But I got us all tickets to like one of these interactive light shows. Like it's a maze you walk through. There's ice skating, there's sledding, there's like a Ferris wheel. There's just all this stuff and just lots of lights. So we'll do that Christmas Eve out in I think it's in Santa Anita. They have that big fairground. So we'll do that. I think that's really fun. Probably walk around our neighborhood because it's super festive, but yeah, so I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm not really looking forward to all the cooking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Falls on you. Yeah.
It does.
Will your daughters jump in and help?
No. And here's the thing is that my oldest daughter is an amazing cook. She's really good. And she will say, I learned it from my mom. I grew up watching my mom cook, and she will call me and ask me for recipes around holidays if we're not together and all that. But no, when she comes home, she's with mommy. Yeah. And I get it. I totally get it. I mean, I offered to do laundry and she's like, no, mom, I got it. But it's, no, I'm mom and I'm in charge of everything. They become even more infantile around the holidays and when they're in my home for more than a couple days. But how about you?
Basically, our families in basically most of them are in Southern California, so it's always going to be a good time getting together and we have some close family that's normally with us. It's actually, in the hospital at this time, actually near you at UCLA. I have a sister-in-law who's unusual story, but she's been with the machine just to breathe. And she finally said to the doctor, look, I can't do it. I got to get on a transplant list for a lung transplant. And she went to UCLA and was approved. And she's breathing for the first time in 10 years without a machine. And she got a lung transplant, but she has to stay within 3 blocks of the hospital for 3 months, just in case. And so we have a lot of family members that will be with her on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and 100% worth it that there's going to be less people at the table and the get together. But it blows my mind that someone could get a lung transplant. And, she just said, it's not worth living if I have to take this machine around and struggle. And so far, everything is going in the right direction for her. It's been pretty incredible.
Was it a machine like that she wore like over her shoulder kind of thing?
Had to pull it around.
Like dragging. It was like dragging
it was long dragging it around, long hose with wheels. It was like taking a suitcase around everywhere you went.
Like when you see, I get it. Those big tanks, and then you have to change them out and make sure you've got reserve. And it's a huge response. It's a huge thing.
Yeah, and it's been terrible to watch because you see someone you knew that was completely healthy, and then all of a sudden, their weight's dropping below 100 pounds. I mean, it's a struggle to eat because you can't breathe, and you're just looking at them dwindle away over 10 years, and then all of a sudden, it's like you got a second chance at life with this lung transplant. It just seems like an amazing surgery. And hats off to the people at UCLA, because they said they've never been treated so well at any hospital as what UCLA is doing for them. So
How old is
they're
she?
great.
What's her age?
She's in her 60s. She's in her 60s.
Okay, she's young. Okay, wow. Well, that's a lot. That's heavy.
Yeah,
And when
it is.
did they do the transplant?
3 weeks ago.
Okay.
3
Oh,
weeks
so
ago.
she's at the light at the end of the tunnel. Like things are taking if she's
It's one of those, I guess you do the whole knock on wood, right? You don't want to say it because there's a reason to
right.
make you stay there for 3 months.
My whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, right now things are going fantastic. But yeah, that's kind of a Christmas wish for that family that is coming through. But she has a bunch of kids and grandchildren, and they'll be with her, in her little place around UCLA, just to be with her mom and grandmother. So
That's beautiful.
excited. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And it sounds promising. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I hate to jinx anything, or
Exactly.
my mom would say, count your chickens before they hatch, some
Yeah.
shit like
That's
that.
it.
But
Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Yep.
yeah, but it's okay. I've learned it's okay to celebrate the little things.
Agree.
And
Agree.
yeah, they have a lot to be celebrating. I have this weird thing happening. This is a weird story. This is such a weird story, but if I don't say it, it's going to keep running in my head because I'm an obsessive thinker. But when I was younger, and we know that like I had a really volatile relationship with my mother. We've shared this. We know we both did. And one day we were fighting, and I was in their home. I had moved out. I was probably 15, 16. I must have been 16 because I must have drove down there. And me and my mom are like going at it, right, in the living room. And my dad is sitting there with his denim jacket. He always wore like Levi jackets. He was cool. He was a cool cat. But he always had the coolest Levi jackets. And a tear like ran down his face. And I turned around and I was like, "Are you crying?" And he was like, "No, I'm cold." And I was like, "What kind of excuse is that? Like, you're cold? You're cold, so you're crying?" Well, I keep it really cold in my house, and it's
Me too.
cool here. It's hot here in the day, but it is cooling off at night, and I keep the windows open. Well, what's been happening to me is my eye keeps tearing.
There you go.
And I'm like, okay, maybe he wasn't crying, which I'm not sure I'm happy about. I thought maybe he had like a feeling, he had an emotion for 1 minute there.
Yeah.
I was like, he actually is feeling something. But I'm turning around and I'm like, no, because he had his jacket on in the house and he was sitting there like with his arms crossed in his big chair and a tear. And I'm like, no, I think the man couldn't care less that we were fighting. He was cold. He was cold.
That was it.
So, I mean, what a weird things we learn in life, right? Like,
no, it's true. I find myself now, because of the weather, as you said, and I know it's a lot colder other places. I have a friend in Chicago. It was -11 on Sunday. It's a lot different, as you said, in Southern California, we're kind of doing pretty good. I find myself having to order like eye drops to put in my eyes. I've never had dry eyes before. Like, what the hell? Getting older kind of sucks. Like, the first thing I have to do is put drops in my eyes so I can see, so I don't fall down the stairs. It's insane.
Yeah, I know. And I really, in the past 2 weeks, I've really noticed I really need my glasses more. Like I'm going more blind, and all of it's a kick in the ass, but we're here.
We're here.
So to circle back to transplants. Okay. We've got an amazing guest today, and she's just red hot, and she's a warrior. And I do not use that word lightly or loosely, because I am so immersed in this world and, in healthcare and in health, getting help and all of that. So I just don't use it loosely, but she had a kidney transplant. Also was diagnosed with lupus, suffered from a stroke, had a hysterectomy, which I'm looking at. I'm hoping to get that done in the new year. So I would love to talk to her about that. But she also was a caregiver and has really been feeling the effects of this broken healthcare system that we have, and is one of those people who has not only navigated it, but used it to get healthy, and is sharing how you do that, which that is the warrior part, right? It's like That's the part. So Shemekka Marty is with us today.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, and congratulations to your family member, Dave. That is truly a blessing.
It is. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you, Nicole, for having me in that wonderful intro. Transplants are not talked about. I am an ambassador for UNOS, which is for all organ donation. So just being able to talk to the public and let them know how it changes lives, and to be a donor, just to put that on their license, is immensely helpful, and that helped your loved one get it so quickly.
I am. Are you, Dave? Are you a donor?
I am. Absolutely am.
My mom always okay. My mom was a pessimist, Shamekka. Like she was always on the negative, right? So she was like, don't ever do that, because really they'll let you die because they'll make more money from using your organs.
There's people that still believe that. And it's very skewed. You can't think of it that way in the sense. Funny story, when I was waiting for my kidney transplant, I had so many messages of people in different countries that are like, we can get you a kidney on the black market. If you just come out to India, we can definitely hook you up. Only $5,000. Like all these things, we can get it off of a drone. And I'm like, what in the world is happening? I'm not even worried about the people that think like somebody's going to die. There's people over in other countries, especially in India, where they're just like, we'll just give you a kidney. We'll just ship it over to you. And I'm like, what? That's not how this works.
Right. Right. Well, how long were you on a waiting list? And like, tell us a little bit about that journey, because I know that here in America, where you would think everything is so high tech and so advanced and available, it's really not.
It's really not. But my situation was very unique in the sense that I grew up watching my mom on dialysis. So I knew the effects of it and what it can do to you. Just as soon as I got home, she's in this chair, you see the blood cycling through, she looks half dead. And I'm just like, oh, okay, this is not something I would ever want to be a part of. I was hoping that I would never get it. She had lupus as well. And it's not hereditary, but in my family, it seems to be that way. And my uncle had a kidney transplant as well, and I was his caregiver up until last year. So I already had in my mind, if this should happen to me, I am definitely doing whatever I need to do to not do dialysis. So it took about a period of time where, they were like, your kidneys are starting to fail. We're going to do this, this, and this. And the kidneys, along with the heart, they work together. So my blood pressure was just going through the roof. It actually got up to 288 over 110. And I was like, how high can it go? I'm like, where does it stop? And they're like, well, 330. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not trying to win the medal here. So we're going to do something about it. Because I was on 6 different blood pressure medications just to keep my blood pressure at least right below 200. So my kidneys were screaming like, you have a little bit of time. And I remember the doctor when I was in the hospital, and I was imploding, because if you don't do dialysis or anything, you retain water because your toxins just stay in your body. So I had like tree stumps for legs, and they're like, we're going to start emergency dialysis. And I was like, the hell if you are. I was up all night, and I already booked my flight, and I'm going to LA. And they're like, huh? And I said, I already booked my flight, and I'm going to LA, and I'm getting a stem cell transplant. And they're like, you're going to die. You'll die in a day. And I said, no, I'll be back and I'll make you a believer. And I did. I got the first stem cell transplant. I went to a facility in LA, and it lasted, but in the United States, there's a cap on how many stem cells you can receive. So I had saw when I was looking up all night that there were a lot of clinical trials around being able to do stem cell transplants in spurts so that you can still live without doing dialysis. So that's why I decided to take that upon myself and do that. Because I had asked them, if you can give me IVIG, then it'll make my body better. And they were like, well, no, we need you sick so that you could stay on the transplant list. And they were like, that would make you too good. And I'm like, wait, what? That defeats the purpose. But you want to give me something that I'd be on long-term. Okay, whatever. So I went there, got it done. And then I read if I went to Panama, Mexico, or Costa Rica, that I would go ahead and have it extended because they would give you more. So instead of it lasting for 6 months, because if you do it here in the United States, it would last for 6 months. And I had to go through the grueling thing. People just think especially for a kidney, you can't just get it. You have to be approved. And just like you said, your family member, they had to be approved. So I had to go through all these tests and actually a mental health exam too. They want to make sure you're not crazy in taking it too, and that you have support. So that whole process took about a year. So I went to Costa Rica. I took my kids, my entire family, and I had 2 friends that went with me to get the full bone marrow stem cell transplant, which would go into your back instead of just in your arm. And that kept me alive for 2 years. And then I received my kidney transplant. My husband was actually, what bumped me up to the top of the list was he volunteered to be my donor. We were not a match, we were a blood match. But women, what people do not understand are DNA changes once we have kids. So you develop antibodies. And so I had high antibodies also from the several blood transfusions that I had from having severe endometriosis, which led me to my hysterectomy. And so they were like, you have 99% antibodies. It's going to be really hard to match you, but your husband being at the top, it was going to be a swap. And they had scheduled the swap for February 14th of 2023. And then they test the kidney that they're going to give to you 3 times. And the 3rd time, it didn't come up as a perfect match. It was 98.5%. And they were like, we can't do it. And I had all these news stations and everything, and I was brokenhearted. And this was in January. And I'm like, no. And they gave me a call, which you had said you can't go very far. So I happened to be in LA for an event, and I was with my kids, and they called me up and they were like, you have to get to the hospital now. Like, you have 10 hours. And I said, okay, well, thank God I didn't go really far. I'm only in LA. I live in the Bay Area. And it was a kidney from Connecticut. A kid had passed away. He was 21 on a motorcycle. And then luckily the family wanted more time because my flight got delayed and my husband was going to kill everybody in the airport. Because he's like, she needs to get there. She has a kidney transplant and you guys are delaying it. And I'm like, I said, God, we're going to go to jail. I can't go to jail. Can you please stop? Can you please calm down? And so we finally made it. And luckily they were like, it's okay. They didn't airlift it until now. And when I received the kidney, I actually died for 1 minute and 49 seconds because I woke up. When you have surgery, they wake you up and be like, yay. And I'm like, all of a sudden, all of this pain starts rushing through. And I'm like, I can feel the kidney. I can feel it. And they're like, no, yeah, you got a kidney. You can feel it. And I'm like, no. I can feel it. Like whatever y'all numb me with is not working. And I just started convulsing and I was holding onto the bed. And I remember them trying to drug me up and none of that. I was like, it's not working. It's not working. They're like, it's not working. And I woke up. I couldn't talk because they intubated me. They pushed a tube down my throat. And I was like, why am I talking like I smoke 10 packs a day? And they were like, well, we lost you for about 1 minute and 49 seconds, but you're here. And they just kept talking. I was like, wait, can we roll that back? Wait, what? Excuse me, what? I died? Oh, okay. Well, I'm here. And it was a roller coaster of things. And like you said, I don't gatekeep. I let people know that there are options. Not everything may work for you. I tell them that. I'm like, I'm not a medical professional, but I can tell you what I experienced, and there are clinical trials. Everybody needs to know that you're the CEO of your own body and you can hire and fire at will. And if something doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it. But in the end, I'm here today because I know I have a message because, they've tried to kill me twice. I'm obviously here for a reason.
I want to talk about that, but first, wait, I need to back up a little bit. So they say they lost you for over 1 minute. There was you didn't see some bright white light. You'd have no memories. You weren't like flying above the earth. Like there was no, I need to know these things.
Yeah, I do too. I gotta know.
Everyone asked me that. And I'm like, I fly. And for whatever reason, I fly in my dreams, and it just felt like one of my normal, I'm flying in my dream. Like I just have capabilities. I don't know why I have wings in my dreams. And my husband looks at me like, yeah, I know you're crazy. I chose the right crazy for me. I'm like, no, honey, I really do. I fly. Well, but I can feel myself.
You're calling me crazy now because Dave and I talk about this quite a bit. I fly in my dreams too, Shemekka.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's something like, I don't know. I really love those dreams. Those are my favorite dreams. Yeah.
I feel invincible. I'm like hovering and I just show people and they're just like looking at me and I'm glowing. But that night actually it was like early in the morning. I was just hovering over the hospital and I don't remember anything else. But when I came to, I was just in so much pain, more so because I couldn't communicate. I was trying to talk and I just couldn't wonder why. Like nobody told me, oh yeah, by the way, we shove this tube down your throat and you're not going to be able to talk. No, but everybody just acted normal. But for the part where I was out, I could just, I've never had that type of pain before rush to me. You have regular pain when you're at home and something happens, but that was just like instantly you felt something foreign in your body that didn't belong. And all it was just like a glow all over my body, whatever they put in me. That was it.
Wild. That's, and that you obviously must be very in touch with your body. But I want to circle back to what you were saying, because I think that this is something that I was just at a medical convention last week, and I was talking to a lot of doctors like on the side and talking about the medications I'm on, and some of them are new and some of them, like, we don't know the long-term effects of them and my worries and all of that. Right. And I think that in this medical system, you said something really important, that you said they want to keep you sick to keep you here, because they're comfortable with you here in this lineup waiting for this step and that. And they lay out these protocols, right? And a lot of people just put their head down and just follow the protocols. And no, not a lot of people question it. And they're like, my doctor said I should be taking this, so I'm going to take this. And when I've brought up around other cancer survivors that I'm thinking about not taking my AIs and my all the stuff that I'm on, they look at me like, are you mad? Are you crazy? And they're shocked, and they're like, why would you do that? This is going to keep you alive. And I'm like, well, if you do the research, it's not really like, it might make me have a heart attack. It might, all of these things that I'm taking, I might die of heart disease from it. Like, I might be swapping out one thing for another. Or there's also the new medications that have the unknown. We don't know. Are they going to come back and go, oh, you see the commercials. Did you take so-and-so for cancer and it came back, metastatic, and like, you can sign up for the lawsuit. Like, there's just all of these things. So when people stop and question it, I really admire that. And I really love that. And I think that it's not done enough. And so to hear you say that you're doing that is wonderful. It's just music to my ears. And so you have a website where people can go on and have consultations with you, correct? And you can talk to them about maybe questioning things. Like, explain a little bit more about what you do in your advocacy work, because it's so important.
For my advocacy lane, because I wear like too many hats, I tell people it's really simple. Why do we always go to a restaurant and we look up the Yelp reviews, but why don't we do that when we put other stuff in our body that is supposed to help us? And we're okay with going to a place and be like, no, I have a gluten allergy. No, I have this. What did the chef put in this? And blah, blah, blah. But you know that the chef is the expert because obviously he opened up this place, right? The same thing happens to us when we go to a doctor or when he's prescribing something. We don't really question. Like you said, there's people that are like, I'm going to do this because the doctor told me to do it. Well, if you don't like something, you send it back. You don't send it back when you take a medication and it's halfway making you sicker. And so we have to adapt that type of mindset for everything we put into our bodies. I research the heck out of it. When a doctor tells me, we're going to do this new treatment or we're going to give you this new drug, I say, thank you. I'm going to do my research and I'll let you know. I'll take the script. That doesn't mean I'm going to fill it, but I'm going to do my research. And I do thorough research on it. And that's what we have to start doing, treating it like we're going on Yelp, like we're going on Open Table. There are a lot of sites that do that. So when people contact me, some of them contact me from my website and I speak to them. I'm always just open to helping people because I have it where it's free. And then if you want to continue on and you want me to help you manage your EHR, your electronic health records, then we'll go through it. So I can say like, look, did you see that this happened, and this happened? Because a lot of us just go to the doctor and we don't think about reviewing any of our patient notes. So that's like a whole nother subject entirely. But people will DM me. I'm highly accessible. People find my number sometimes and they text me. I don't turn anybody away because everybody needs to hear that. They say they're a doctor, but if you remember, every doctor says, I have a practice. Well, that means you're not perfect and that's okay. But I'm going to help you help me. And I'm a part of the process too. And I tell people that, again, you have a business. The business is you. The business model is ran by you. You're inside of it. So you have to communicate if something's not right. And I hate when they always give you something that all right, well, you said you didn't want that, but you didn't say that you didn't want that. And I was like, well, it's the trade-off. So it's like the lesser of two evils. Why does it always have to be that way? And as you said there, I want to live, but in this unfortunate environment right now, everything is to treat, never cure. So it's a very hard battle, but that's what I teach people. Like, you have to take your power back. You have to know that you do have power. And a lot of older people are in the mindset of, well, the doctor told me I got to do it, so I got to do it. And I'm like, no, you don't have to, especially if it isn't making you feel well. Do you see these people dancing on TV? Oh my God, this is great. And I'm like, you might have anal leakage, but oh my God, this is great. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want this. Why are we dancing? Why are you trying to divert from the attention that it's going to kill me?
Facts. And I will say that I find that a lot of people really just kind of get overwhelmed, and they're like, okay, they either don't have the time to put into, because this is a time sucker, to do all of the research, or they don't maybe emotionally have the capacity to do it, or it's just scary, right? So what you do is amazing, because if you can go somewhere and someone is in it with you, it makes a huge difference, because doing it on your own, which you've done, I've done, when you do it on your own like that, it takes a special kind of energy, right? Like it just does. Like I can't expect every patient that's been diagnosed with cancer to do all the stuff that I've done, and the research, and like digging and rabbit holes and just questions and all of it. I can't expect everybody to do that, because they're tired, or they don't feel well, or it's scary to them, and all these things. But when you find somebody who can advocate for you or with you, and you mentioned something super important, was looking at the your health records. A lot of people don't, or it's really hard to understand, right? A lot of the lingo is like, what did I just read? So to break it down, and sometimes people will find things that the doctor never even brought up, right? So that's really important. And I've found that doing it myself, is I would put my health records through like an app that would break it down for me. And there's things that you're like, oh my God, nobody even thought to tell me this, or there's this I could be doing, or I could have done that. There's just so much more that they don't tell you, because they're just going to run you through their protocol, through their practice, right? And their practice is really just what they went to school for. And they don't really think outside the box. They don't really like going outside the box. That's not what they're paid for. They're paid to keep you right here in that line of being sick, so that you can get the next transplant, right? Or the emergency dialysis. So I love that you have that website for people. And also you are very involved in helping women in sports. So tell us about that, because that's major. And I don't think a lot of people are really aware of that.
Women in sports is something right now that is like all the rage. We're talking about WNBA. We're talking about women's flag football. Now you can get a scholarship with it. I have my own company called Beyond the Game Health, and I've been doing this now it's going on 2 years. But it's picked off tremendously. So me coming from a cybersecurity background, I did regulatory and compliance, and then I segued over with my AI experience to go into healthcare, which is mostly interoperability that relates to electronic health records. And I said, I do a lot in sports because I'm a huge sports fan anyway. And I started talking to the players, and they started telling me, we don't have insurance, but you hear it in the news right now. You see that women are not paid properly, and there's more to it. And when I started to dig deeper, I'm like, okay, let me put two and two together. I can use the power of sports to amplify healthcare, because most of the time, if you have Steph Curry or Shaquille O'Neal or Aaron Judge talk about anything, people are going to listen, regardless if they do not watch the sport. They just know that like this person looks big and healthy, but honestly, they're not really healthy, especially when they're done. They retire, and at 35, and what does it look like for a woman? She wants to go ahead and have kids and stuff, but her body's been through it. And then the place that she played for fails her because they don't offer her insurance. They don't offer everything. They don't talk about concussions in women. They always talk about it in men. Now, like, these girls get hit in the head too. Why aren't we talking about that? Every single time we're talking about CTE, it is 99% women. I'm sorry, men. And the fact that we still do sports that are contact sports, is amazing. And we go through so much stuff besides that. So I wanted to amplify that and be able to champion for women. So I did the WNBA brunch earlier this year, and it was in honor of 5 basketball players that passed away from breast cancer, which nobody talked about, nobody knew, and they were just all surprised. So I had a mobile clinic pull up, and we did mammograms, because a lot of the alumni do not have insurance. So we gave out pamphlets, we talked about it, we said it's okay not to be okay. We don't know when the check engine light is on. Women, we're always trying to compensate and do things for other people, and we tend to not really focus on ourselves. And so nobody said anything, and they were just like, you know what, I need to start saying, like, to my coach, this is what we have to do. And so I'm starting the conversation where it's okay to talk about it, because even for men too, talking about anything that hurts is like a sign of weakness, when it's really, I'm trying to tell you, like, my body is about to give out. So being that person that is now championing for women in sports, and just automatically being a minority in sports is enough, but being a woman in sport is very, very hard. But giving them a voice and a platform. And I set up events that are tailored for various different health conditions. So we did one for type 1 diabetics. We did one in honor of lupus. The next event that I'm doing for Super Week, which is right before Super Bowl, is in sudden cardiac arrest. When people always see athletes collapse, it's due to an undetected heart condition. So I'm this little girl that's out there, and it's really funny when I go with my clients, and I will always wear heels anytime I'm doing NBA related, because everybody's like super tall and I'm 5'2" on a good day. So I'll be walking with my clients, and they're like, wait, who are you? And I'm like, he's my client. I don't, okay. And then they'll wave me through, and I'm like, I always get overlooked as a little small female who's making a big difference. And now my name is getting known, but I just segued and tried to, is you're doing patient advocacy and helping people, you get on this trajectory. But then when you use the power of sports, it goes up higher, because I'm actually seen on the court. And I say on the court, I'm literally on the court or on the field and taking care of business and talking to people. And then now they see me, and it's catapulted into so many things where everybody's like, we want you to do this event. We want you to do this event. And I'm just happy that I'm making a platform and paving a way, because it wasn't like this before. And at least when other women are doing it in sports, it's not for the initiative of health. So I want to expose that, especially with cancer and the rates that are happening. So many women are being affected by breast cancer. And ironically, a lot of people don't know the stuff that breast cancer patients take. I've already taken. I've taken Cytoxin. I've done chemotherapy, but raising the awareness to let people know that a lot of treatments are for various things. Whatever is on that bag, it usually is like, well, it also treats this too. And I'm like, why am I taking something that treats lymphoma? I'm like, well, it treats this too.
Yeah. And, I think that's something that a lot of men are not aware of, and maybe even a lot of women are not aware of, is that when you're in athletics, when you're an athlete and you're female, it really affects the reproductive system and your menstrual cycle. It really changes you hormonally. And I think that that's something that's really not addressed and talked about. It's sort of ignored. Like they go, even I see it with my youngest daughter when they ask about when was her latest cycle. And then they go, and because it's inconsistent, sorry, Keegan, she won't hear this anyways, but they will say, oh, because you're an athlete. And they mark it as just like, okay, that's just normal. Instead of being like, okay, we're going to keep an eye on this. You know what I mean? It's just, it's so brushed under the rug all the time. And you're like, what are the long-term effects of this? Like, and so
brushing it off as a female is horrible. You do realize that they haven't started even studying the female anatomy, just solely that, besides the OBGYN, until 1993. That is craziness. Crazy. So just marking off as an athlete, we're pulling things from a medical book that was derived from 1970. And there's so many things in our food, in our environment, that have made things a lot more different, that they really need to pull from that and start looking at redoing the book or studying more, and not just going old school. And like you said, I've heard that a million times, like, oh, your cycle's gonna be messed up because you're an athlete. You're so active, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, we shouldn't do that.
No, because let's talk about what the long-term effects of that are. And it's,
Mhm.
it's just, it's something, yeah, it doesn't get addressed. It's like, you're just like tapped on the back and like, yep, that's normal because you're an athlete, good for you. Be grateful you're
Yeah.
not getting your period. It's like, well, wait a minute.
That does not automatically, and that's what I tell people. I'm like, that does not automatically mean you are now a god, because I can tell you at the time that they retire, which is usually in their 30s, they have the body of like a 6-year-old. And they've had so many shots, so many different therapies just to keep them in the game, just to keep them at this level that they don't think about the long-term effects of it. And then when a woman wants to have a child, then they end up having a hard time, and they have to spend a whole bunch of money on IVF because they've taken so many different things that have messed with their hormones. And it's like, okay, well, now I need to do IVF. And then the league doesn't cover that. So nobody talks about that. And I'm like, oh, I want to have a baby now. I already have my career. I'm like 33, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's wild. It's honestly, it's mind-blowing, and unless you have the money to go to a functional medical doctor, you are unfortunately stuck in this old the old school medical doctor. And they should be saying to young women, watch your products. Watch what you wash your hair with, your face with, your beauty products, those candles you burn, that perfume you spray, what you eat.
Mhm.
Teach them about the dirty dozen. None of this is happening, and it's just so simple. It's like just such a simple thing,
Mhm.
and it's just not. It's just not there. So, I just spreading the word is just so admirable, and I just love anybody that does what you're doing, and I appreciate it for all the women around the world, and it's just beautiful, and it's so needed, and we can't do it alone.
No. And I love, Nicole, that you said functional medicine doctor. Do you know how many times I've said that to people and they're like, what's that? What's that? And when they can't get an answer from their regular doctor, I often say, involve a functional medicine doctor. Now, some of them take just straight cash. Some of them you have to do a super bill and everything like that. I've involved myself with a functional medicine doctor, especially when I was having issues with endometriosis, and then any surgeries that I've had so I can recover really quickly. But a lot of people don't know that, and to have further testing. And it's like, okay, you really need to start talking more about functional medicine doctors, not just for women, but for men too. When you can't get
Yeah,
the answers and you're just like, they've done every test. Honestly, they really haven't.
yeah.
They
And
really,
they
really
don't read the tests. They don't read the test results the same.
haven't.
So anybody that's confused on what the difference is between a functional medical doctor and just an old school medical doctor is the functional medical doctor will figure out the whys and what is causing your symptoms. Not They don't just jump out like a medical doctor will say, take this, take this, take this. They will help you with your symptoms, right?
Mhm.
And then the functional medical doctor will actually try to get to the root of the problem of why this is happening so you don't have to take those medications. So instead of just masking it all, we try to figure out like why is this happening. So they look at the blood work, they look at every test result very differently, and it's so important. And it's one of the things that makes me like my body temperature right now is high because I'm thinking about it, that it's just not available through insurance in the United States of
Oh yeah,
America. This
it's
country
ridiculous.
that we live in, it is, you have to come out of pocket, and we're not talking
Mhm.
cheap. I mean, it's like
No.
500 up a visit.
Mhm.
But the thing is that it is worth every penny. But just unfortunately, a lot of us don't have that in our budget. But if you are dealing with something that's chronic, I just highly suggest it. Um, I think it's worth everything because it's such a different vantage point of like what you're going through and how to fix it. So, yeah, that's just my little rundown on why functional medical doctors
Health
are
is
the way to
wealth.
go.
People are, sometimes when I hear them say, oh, well, it costs so much, and I'll look at their stories and stuff, and I'm like, but you can blow money on that. You just don't want to, because in your mindset, you're thinking it should be covered. And you're not wrong, but we're going to have to spend the money. That's why I took myself out of the country. Like, oh, well, I don't have it like you. And I'm like, well, I have 3 kids that I do want to see. So I don't care what I have to spend. And you just have to have that mindset, like you really, really, really have to devote to it. And then there's people that honestly don't have it, and it's mind blowing. But we should start thinking out. That's the other thing, is like, just start thinking outside the box. And if I can leave anybody with anything, just start thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about the whys instead of just, masking the symptoms. And it was funny because I always say this, it's something I always refer back to, is my doctor, when I got my diagnosis, said to me, don't ask why. This is happening to 1 in 8 women. 1 in 3 people get cancer. 1 in 8 women get breast cancer. Don't think, why me? And I thought, what are you talking about? Why? Of course I'm going to ask why, because now I need to figure out how to change. If I don't ask why, I'm never going to come up with a solution to like change things. And so, I did it on my own, and luckily there's just so much information on the internet now. And with Chat GPT, honestly, it can direct you right where you need to go. There are websites like yours. There are apps. There are places to go now where you can ask why and not take self-blame, but figure out like, okay, so how do we fix it, instead of masquerading it with with prescriptions.
I literally, when I got my diagnosis, and I had feared it because I knew my mom had it and my grandmother had a form of it. And I said, it wasn't why me, it was try me. You got the different version. And I tell people all the time, don't think of it, why me, try me. You're going to overcome it. And when it's the first thing, am I going to die from it? Well, I really don't know, because you could get hit by a drunk driver tomorrow, God forbid, or I really don't have that layout, but you can at least have the mindset, like, I'm going to fight this thing. At least you know exactly what you're fighting, instead of, I don't know. So try me. I'm going to do everything I have to. I'm going to come out swinging.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, give us your website one more time.
It is my name. So it's ShemekkaMarty.com. If you want to learn about the events, which is throughout the nation. So if there's a FIFA coming up or NBA All-Star, beyondthegamehealth.com. I'm always there. And when I help people, I don't have to be there. You can just, as soon as you get to the doctor's office, you can put me on speaker. You're allowed to have anybody. And if you don't have me, I implore you, please just have like an accountability partner to be like, yeah, remember you said this happened too? But again, it's ShemekkaMarty.com or beyondthegamehealth.com.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do, because it's
Thank you so much for having me today.
very important work. Thank you for being with us.
Really cool. Really cool. She's a lot on her plate. I mean, that's amazing what she does. Sometimes I think, man, I have too much on my plate. Then I listen to her and I'm like, I don't think I have enough on my plate. I mean, I don't know how you do it. It's really incredible, through her own health journeys, and then to help so many other people out and taking on more and more, just pretty incredible.
It is. And, that's what makes like a warrior, because once you learn the information, like you can't unlearn it, right? And you're like, okay, I know all this, and this is so obvious, but all of these people don't know. And we just need more of it. We need more and more of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Good for you. I mean, it's been a journey for you for now a couple years, and you trying to educate your audience and help out. And I think you've done a very good job. This is, or I guess our last show of 2025 as we head into the holidays. But you've done a lot of work yourself, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you. I just hope to keep doing it and keep learning and keep sharing. And we have to help each other. If we don't have these conversations, the information doesn't get spread around, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all positive stuff. So I hope everybody has an amazing holiday, an amazing new year. And let's go into 2026 with some good new energy. And I mean, unfortunately, it's going to be more of the same. Are we kidding? I don't see the news headlines changing for the better anytime soon, but I hope we all get rest and rejuvenation and come back swinging.